This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Russ Riesinger. Janelle's off tonight. It will soon cost you more to feed those parking meters in downtown Billings. Billings City Council voting tonight to raise the rates that you will pay to park, but also taking some action that might make it a little easier when you do. Q2's Mitch Leahy joining us now to tell us more about the changes and when they'll go into effect. Mitch?
That's right, Russ. Come August, every parking meter across the city of Billings will charge you $1 per hour for your first 2 hours parking at the meter. After that, your third hour is going to cost you $2 per hour, with a maximum of 3 hours that you can stay at any one parking meter. The Billings City Council voted to increase parking rates for reserved spots in parking garages as well. Those rates will increase 5% in 2021 and 2022. The city chose to raise those rates because 2020 is expected to be the last year that the parking division will receive $100,000 in its budget from the TIF district. Without that $100,000, the parking division will be about $59,000 short in their budget. The increase in parking fees will bring about $67,000 in 2020, plenty to cover the shortfall.
What I struggle with is how much do you increase it by before you're really dinging people?
But we didn't want to have the sticker shock of raising rates 25%, right off the bat, when I think there's some other things we can do to kind of mitigate some of that before we get to having to look just solely at rate increases.
Now, the city is also rolling out its new Pay by Phone app. This will allow people to pay for their parking via their smartphone. Now, once again, those rate increases will go into effect on August 1st. Russ?
All right, thank you, Mitch. And millions of dollars hoping to make up for the turmoil of one of the largest data breaches in history. Now, this settlement, one of the largest in history, but beyond the money, the question of what caused 147 million Americans' most valuable data to be stolen from Equifax, including from about a third of all Montanans. CBS News' Diane King has the details.
The Equifax breach exposed the private information of nearly 150 million people.
Names, social security numbers, birth dates and addresses, and for some, driver's license numbers and credit card numbers.
2 years after the breach, the credit reporting agency has agreed to a settlement of up to $700 million. That includes up to $425 million for consumers who were financially harmed and could be as much as $20,000 per claim, reimbursing those impacted for both time and expenses fighting identity theft.
As long as they have reasonable documentation in the form of receipts that they paid for credit monitoring or that they paid for security freezes, they should be able to get reimbursed for that amount.
Equifax will also provide at least 10 years of free credit monitoring and at least 7 years of free services for restoring stolen identities. For details on filing a claim, the company set up the website equifaxbreachsettlement.com.
Their carelessness with our personal data will cause harm, perhaps, for millions of Americans.
It took Equifax more than 6 weeks to discover that hackers were roaming its network. Authorities used the case to offer advice to consumers.
Unless you are about to apply for a loan or a credit card, freeze your credit.
Since the breach, Equifax has forced out its top executives and invested in new technology in an effort to repair the company's tattered reputation. Diane King Hall, CBS News, New York.
Out of the settlement, $175 million goes to the states, and out of that amount, $1 million will go back to the state of Montana, where about 380,000 people were affected by the breach. Well, they can provide relief for those suffering with pain, but opioids have also caused a lot of pain for Montanans. According to the Montana Department of Public Health and Human Services, there have been more than 700 deaths from prescription opioid overdoses in our state. Abuse of the painkillers and how care providers have been reacting was the subject of a community roundtable in Helena, hosted by the Montana Primary Care Association. State Medical Officer Dr. Greg Holzman says one of the key parts in treating opioid use or any other substance abuse is the community coming together and removing the stigma that comes with seeking treatment.
There's a lot of history behind people of what they might be dealing with, underlying depression, anxiety, trauma, and so we need to understand that these are people, good people with a disease, a disorder, and we need to help them through that process.
Holzman says Montana has made huge progress in addressing opioid use in the state, thanks in part to the partnerships of organizations and local communities. All right, onto the weather scene now. Bob, the heat is definitely going to be on this week. Good time to remind people that when it's hot outside, it can really get hot inside a car.
Exactly. We're going to start off by showing you just how hot it's going to get this week. Take a look. This is our temperature trend for the next 6 days, and these are reported highs all the way through on Sunday. So you'll notice tomorrow 96, 98 on Wednesday. We roll back to the low 90s, but still we're talking 90s. So let's talk about this. What happens if your car becomes kind of like an oven? What happens here is you see the solar shortwave radiation actually shines through the glass, then that heats up the inside of the car. That means long wave radiation starts moving around inside the car and heats up that, but it can't get out of the car. It's trapped because of it's just the long waves are just too long. They just can't get out. So what essentially happens, we're looking at temperatures that might be 90 degrees on the outside will turn to 124 degrees on the inside of your car in 30 minutes or so. So the word to the wise is before you get out of your car, look in the back seat, make sure you didn't leave the kids there, the animals there, because it's going to be just way too hot for them the rest of this week. Let's go back to you, Russ.
All right, thank you, Bob. Good advice. Well, if your runny nose and itchy eyes just won't seem to go away, you are not alone. It's allergy season. Many are experiencing severe allergies this year because the grass pollen season came a little late. We had a very wet spring and early summer. As rain clears the air, it also allows plants to grow and plants to pollinate.
Many times it's more than just the nose or the eyes. It's the itchy palate. It's the itchiness deep in the ears. It's the itchy throat. It's the fatigue. And that's what really gets people to the point that they're having their quality of life is being interfered with.
And allergists recommend that you start taking allergy medicine before you start to experience the symptoms, so the allergies, the effects of them, at least aren't as severe. Conditions in Montana are not as dry as they could be, but the fire danger is likely to grow starting this week. The governor's Drought and Water Supply Advisory Committee met today in Helena. Currently, much of western Montana is abnormally dry, and some areas in the northwest are in moderate drought. The situation in northeastern Montana has improved since the area has received recent precipitation. Michael Richmond, a meteorologist with the Northern Rockies Coordination Center, says the fire danger across the state would be much worse if it hadn't been a relatively cool spring and summer so far. But since this week is expected to be much warmer and dry, that risk will increase.
We have had a lot of lightning over the past several weeks, especially over the timbered areas in the mountains, thousands of lightning strikes. So there certainly would be some holdover fires that are just sleeping in the dead fuels, just kind of creeping around. And this kind of weather will make them more active, but they will also be able to see where they are.
Richmond said long-range forecasts suggest western Montana will see higher than average temperatures in the next 2 months, which could extend the fire season. Glacier National Park officials say they're investigating a group of tourists hitting golf balls from Going to the Sun Road this past week. The footage shows 2 men golfing from the edge of the scenic mountain road while surrounded by onlookers, both watching and recording the incident on cell phones. Passerby Misty Morrow told MTN she and her family were on their way home from Illinois last Monday when road construction stopped them just east of Logan Pass. Morrow said many people turned off their vehicles, got out to take photos and soak in the beauty when the 2 men began hitting several golf balls into the valley below. Law enforcement calls are up 40% over 2018 at Glacier Park this year. Well, with more than 50,000 likes and 20,000 shares, a Kalispell couple's dog proposal goes viral, even being featured on the Today Show. Maren Sue is in Kalispell with more.
This is Bowie, and Bowie was part of an epic dog proposal that's gone international.
Joel Booth and Katie Latimer had been dating for almost 3 years. So when Joel decided to propose to Katie, he knew it had to be special. That's where golden retriever Bowie comes in.
Went and got her and snuck her, hid her for a whole week, so Katie didn't know about it. Very stressful. Just worrying that, you know, the day before she would find out and the surprise would be ruined.
It took some planning. With the help of a staged photo shoot and photographer friend Rachel Catlett and her husband Jeremiah, Booth pulled it off.
When it was time for her to get changed into their normal clothes and knowing what was about to happen, my heart was pounding. So we had the puppy hiding with a friend, and Katie just had no idea what was going on.
That's when he handed me the dog and he's like, well, don't you want to see what the name is? So I looked at the collar and it said Katie, and I initially thought, why would you name the dog Katie? That's my name. And then I read a little bit further and it said, "Will you marry me?" And then he got down on one knee.
Wanting to share the photos with family and friends, Catlett posted some pictures of the proposal to Dog Spotting Society, a Facebook group for dog lovers.
So I just posted like 10 photos in there, and immediately it just blew up. I was not expecting that. They're very cute photos, obviously, but I just wasn't expecting the attention. And my phone was just blowing up, and all of a sudden it was at 50,000 likes and 15,000 shares.
It was soon after that the Today Show called.
I definitely checked the website just to make sure it wasn't spam.
Verify it.
Yeah, just to verify it was for real.
Catlett says the photos have gone international. While Booth and Latimer haven't set a wedding date yet, they have their hands full with new dog Bowie and other dog Jackson. In Kalispell, Marin Sue, MTN News.
All right, coming up on tonight's 10 o'clock news, tensions in Iran are rising after 17 people were arrested under suspicion of spying. We'll have details on that. Plus, years of fundraising and dedication have brought a boy and his dog together. And in sports, Scott will tell you why the Reds' #1 draft pick is packing his bags and heading out of Billings.
You're watching MTN News with Janelle Slade and Russ Riesinger. Storm Tracker weather with Bob McGuire. And sports with Scott Breen. This is the 10 o'clock news on Q2, Montana's news leader.